now. So let me go ahead and get this into a presentation mode. In case you guys are not aware of who we are, I'm Matt, and Penny is the other person on the call that will be helping me out in this meeting. These are these monthly meetings that we do. If you haven't joined any of these before, we're going to cover a few topics, but I'll go ahead and hit here with the actual agenda. So I'm going to give you a real quick introduction to Zoom, going over some of the do's and don'ts. I'm going to give you a reminder on our iCloud photo sharing program that we've come up with. We're going to actually list the top performers for the month of September and October. Our special topic of the month is actually going to be the needs assessment. We're going to cover each one of the questions and kind of give you a real quick as to why we might ask each question. And then lastly, we're actually going to go over our upcoming topics that we're going to hit in future meetings. So we're going to trade off back and forth, but just to go ahead and get started, I'm going to go ahead and hit this basic functions and etiquette of Zoom. So obviously you were able to get on the platform, so that's good. But just in case, this YouTube link, you can write down if you want, or I can provide it for you. I can share it with you. This is actually a platform we use for more than just these meetings. So new hire sales for salespeople and inside salespeople. We also are going to be doing our regular meetings, of course, but I can also do private coaching. So if you feel like you want to schedule a time for us to meet and just go over some topics, some sales ideas, we can do that in this platform. So just be sure to let me know. I'll send you a link much like this one, and we can do some coaching. Now, just some basics. Again, this is a video and audio platform. You're all muted at the moment, but I might unmute you if you have a question or anything like that. Up at the top, you're going to notice if you go into your controls, or maybe the bottom if you're on a different platform, you'll see a chat button. And that chat button allows you to type a message. I'm going to type hi to everyone so you guys can see if you have a question, you have a need for me to stop, or you want to cover a topic that I'm not discussing, or you have a question about a topic we are discussing. That's where you would want to do that. Go ahead and you can type a message to everyone, or you can actually select a private message to me directly if you don't want the group to see. That said, we don't seem to have anyone else on video right now, but this is a video platform, so make sure if you don't want us seeing you folding laundry or something crazy, make sure you have your camera turned off. There's a button that looks like a video camera. You just click that one time and it'll turn off your camera if you're currently using it. But again, just want to make sure people aren't going into doing things that they're not aware that we can see. So that said, we're going to move on to the next step. Our next topic that we're covering is the iCloud photo sharing program. And again, I'm going to describe this just real briefly because we did cover it in the last meeting. But this is a pretty nice program that allows you to get install photos of our products for bathrooms, kitchens, fireplaces. It's got competition photos, which I'll give you a little bit of a sneak preview for. But this program is absolutely free. It only requires that you have an iPad, iPhone, or a laptop made by Apple, because it is an iCloud program. But all you need to do if you'd like to get all these pictures downloaded, and again, it's pretty easy to do, is you can just send me an email to mgooch@trend-group.com, which is down there at the bottom. And you just say, hey, can you send me the photos? I'll send you a list of different invitations to different albums that I've created. And once you subscribe or join, your iPad or your device does the rest. It'll automatically download photos that I'll show you here in a moment. And as I add new photos, it'll automatically download for you as well. So that way, when you're in a customer's house, you can show them some before and afters. You can show them some new installs with the new natural stone looks. You can go over all sorts of different things, which I'm actually going to take this opportunity to go ahead and stop share. And then Penny, if you would just let me know once my screen comes up. So I'm going to start share with my, let's see if I can find it here. Just one sec. Sorry, guys. All right, so it should be there. And then I just need to hit my photos. There it is. Okay, so can you see my screen, everybody? Or Penny? Okay, good.
Sure.
So just to give you a quick rundown of what these things look like. So these albums, this is an example of one here where we'll actually, if you were to subscribe, all of these photos would automatically download to your device. And you can see I've been out of the field for some time, so not all of them are up to date. Here's a beautiful one that Tony up in Seattle just sent me. And again, the second he sent it to me and I uploaded it onto this, it should have downloaded to everyone's device that is part of this group. So you can actually delete any photos you don't want to use, but these can be very helpful when you're in an appointment. especially if you're trying to go up, say, against a quartz product. You can showcase the differences between our product and a quartz product or a marble. You can explain to them why our marble look is better than doing the actual marble itself because of the etching and things like that. So this is actually a really helpful tool to use. And again, it is absolutely free, assuming that you have some sort of Apple device. I actually used a lot of the before and afters to do some. See if I can find my before and afters category. Sorry, my eyes are a little blurry this morning. So I would use these a lot to do some price conditioning. So I would show a before and an after, something like this, and it would help me illustrate to a customer what it might cost to do something like this, give them some price conditioning, and then also just showcase some of the work that we've done, of course. Looks like someone in the chat here is saying, is there a way to add notes to the photos? So is there a way to add notes to the photos? I think that you can like them for sure, because we've definitely got, sorry, the question is there a way that you can add notes to the photos? And I'm assuming you're referring to, can I list what kind of number or what product we're actually using? So are we using this color and this color cabinet and this backsplash? I don't know. I will look into that for you. I know that, again, sometimes people have sent me these, and while my eyes are good, they're not always perfect. So I may, if I can find a way to put notes in there, I'll certainly try to. And then that'll help you as well with showing a customer exactly what it is. But there are, as you can see here, some folders that are listed by name. Like, for instance, I think I put all of the Nero. So this is the Nero Stella, Black Star, any of the Nero Galaxy, any of the black colors, are actually grouped together in one album. But no, I'm not sure at this point whether I can add notes. I will look into that for you. But the sinks category, these are all really nice, easy ways for you to show a customer kind of what it might look like, help sell them into a specific thing that your location likes to use. So that said, I'm going to pop back to my other screen. And my other screen here, Penny, if you can confirm. We're good?
You're done.
All right, we're back to it. So this is, again, something that's quite easy. All you need to do is send me an email. My first email you'll receive is actually the YouTube tutorial, which will walk you through the exact steps to follow. And it'll give you an indication of what kind of settings need set up. It's really easy, though. It's not hard to do. And then, again, you can just subscribe to them, and they'll automatically start to download when you're on Wi-Fi. Now, the next step we're going to do is we're going to cover our top performers. So we always want to recognize those that have done amazing things, and we unfortunately didn't have the numbers in time for the last meeting for September, so we're actually going to do September and October in this call. We're not going to do all the names, just the top 5, just because of the number of people that we have in the next list. So we're going to trade back and forth, Penny and I, and call out and recognize those that have done a fantastic job. So number 1 on the list for the month of September was Dennis Cherry with $167,896. Congratulations, Penny.
And I'm just going to read the last 3 numbers I can't see on mine, but Francine Steers is more than $143,000, and she's out in Sonoma.
And next would be Gretchen Keith, which is $127,379. That team up there in Northern California is an absolute juggernaut. They're always crushing numbers. Next.
Mm-hmm. With Stacy Torres as well, more than $133,000.
And then Janice up in Portland with $109,000. Very, very solid month for everyone. And we'd love to see more people on this list. As you can see, from the month of October, we had quite a substantial number of people. And again, these are all just folks that have done over $100,000 in production. So congratulations to all of you. But again, we're going to read just the top 5. So number 1 is Paul Mallory in Kansas City with $183,395.
And in Little Rock, Dean Honshu, $143,408.
And there's Francine again. Every month she seems to be on that top 5 list or close, $142,243.
And Craig Allen, also in Portland, $140,051.
And Kirk with $136,971. Congratulations to you. And again, although we're not going to read everyone on the list, we do recognize there are some really solid performers here that are very consistent, and I hope you all strive to hit this list. These are all folks I want to remind everyone that are not doing huge commercial projects. It's not like their numbers are inflated from one huge pop of a sale. These folks are all doing regular, everyday in-home sales appointments just like you. And again, they're just very, very skilled at their craft. And again, we'll probably have some of these folks at some point come and do a guest speak with us so they can share some of their success and what types of things that they do. Now, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this meeting, which is our needs assessment. Again, our needs assessment, we're going to go over each specific thing question by question, and we'll try to be brief on them, and we're going to trade off every couple. Now, again, in my opinion, this is definitely the most important step of the process. This is essentially you asking the questions that will give you a blueprint to how to sell your customer you're in front of. So if you don't ask questions and you just go in and assume everyone is the same and has the same motivations, has the same wounds, you're really going to struggle in closing sales. This will simply give you a few added details about that customer that will allow you to form your appointment or your presentation around what's going to be the most successful strategy for them. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cover the first two. And again, we're going to read the question itself, and then I'm also going to explain why you might want to ask that question. And again, this is something that you can download. I can send you a PDF of, and you can put on your iPad or mobile device. I'm not saying you want to show the customer this long list of questions that they, oh my gosh, I have to go through all these questions. You can simply have it there in front of you as a reminder. You need to take some notes. It's a professional way to do this. This is the way most of our field works. You know, if you actually go to somewhere that wanted to do a complete gut job, you're working with an interior designer, you're going to have a meeting where you're going to take notes about what kinds of things that they're looking to get out of their project. This is no different. So this is kind of what you're doing here as well, so you can best serve your client. First question I always ask is, again, how long have you been in your home? So again, you're trying to get a sense of whether this is something new that they've just needed, or you know, maybe they've moved in 2 years ago and they hated it ever since they moved in. You're trying to pull up kind of a wound, if you will. Or maybe they've been in 30 years and they're getting ready to sell their home. And again, that leads a little bit to the next question, which is this project for you or for someone else? The goal in this question is to find out if this is the I'm going to die in this house situation, or this is really for me, or if it's I'm getting ready to prep this to sell in 2 months. My realtor says my countertop sucks, so I have to update it. Obviously, you're going to approach those appointments in two different ways. So before you go spending tons of time, you can actually knock that out and know what type of situation you're dealing with. Penny, can you see the whole question or not?
Yeah, how long have you been thinking about doing this particular project is the next question. And we want to know that because we want to use it in our process, in our sales process, especially when we get to the close. Many times that question, along with the first question, are the same amount of time. So if they've been in the house 7 years, they might have been thinking about doing that countertop project for 7 years. So they've been thinking about it for a long time. It's time to stop thinking. Okay, so we want to know that particular piece of information. Then we want to know what's changed. What made you give us a call at this particular point in time? Something happened between 7 years ago and today. The reason that you're there today, maybe they're college kids or graduated from college, no more college tuition to pay, or maybe there's a wedding coming up next year or something like that, another graduation, high school graduation. There's all kinds of triggers that make people begin their project at a particular point in time. So we want to find out what is different, again, so we can work that into the sales process.
Yeah, the next two, have you or anyone that you've ever known done a home improvement project before? So really, I would ask this in a slightly different way whenever I would run appointments, and that would be, is this your first time doing an some sort of home improvement project? I mean, obviously in the kitchen it is here, but I mean at any previous houses, or have, your sister-in-law, brother-in-law, mother, father, fill in the blank, anyone that you want to do, ever been through a remodeling process, because you're trying to find out a few pieces of information. And again, the next question kind of leads or alludes to that. How was that experience? So was it good? Was it bad? Did they do granite 6 months ago and they already hate it? Or did they do quartz 6 months ago? Or did they do granite 10 years ago and it looks great and they've never had a stain and it's been perfect and they've never sealed it? Obviously, the more information that you have about your customer and their understanding of the process, the easier it is going to be for you to determine the right way to approach that appointment. So again, not only have you ever done a home improvement project, but How was the experience? Did you have bad subs? Okay, if they were bad sub, obviously you're not leading them with that question. But if it comes out as part of their answer, then okay, I need to hit the fact that we don't subcontract our work. Or, hey, my sister-in-law had a kitchen, it was gutted, and it took 3 months for them to get complete. There was dust everywhere. Obviously, that gives you some information that's helpful in your appointment. Next up.
So again, relating back to those experiences, how would you like this experience to be, or your next experience? Or make it personal. Always assume that you have the sale. How would you like your experience to be working with us? So make it personal to them. Put our company in that question. And they're going to tell you that, of course, they want a great experience, and then you can talk about the referral rate that we have. You can talk about the number of clients that do second and third projects with us. You can talk about how many times you're going out because a family member has done it, a friend has done it, all those things. So we want to let them know that's going to be a great experience with us. We can also refer to our Google Plus rating, and just going to those consumeraffairs.com reviews. Great reviews on there, so you can direct them where to look for that information that will back up what you're saying, that it will be a great experience. The next one, this is to make sure that we do not open mouth insert foot, which can also be back on the experience question too. Matt was referring to if they had granite installed. You want to make sure you get that information so that, one, you don't start knocking other products, and two, you don't start knocking the things that they love. So we want to ask what they like about their kitchen or bath, wherever it is that we're in the project area, because we don't want to point something out to them that we feel is not nice or great, and then it insults our homeowner. And if we insult the homeowner, we're not going to walk out with the contract. So we want to find out what the homeowner likes first, and then what they don't like. So we just want to make sure that we are still on the homeowner side. We are partnering with the homeowner in this project. So this is just part of getting to know the homeowner and the project they want to accomplish. Matt?
Yeah, and next is, do you have a vision in mind for your project? So in this day and age with Houzz and Pinterest and all these different ways for them to watch HGTV, odds are they might already have kind of an idea of what they've liked from those shows or what they've seen online. So it's important that you pull that information, because if you go in and pitch something that's the complete opposite, obviously that gives you an uphill climb to try and win the customer, if you will, win the day. If you go in there pitching a high backsplash and terra ambra, and they've seen nothing but beautiful mosaic backsplashes and they want a mosaic, they're going to think you're crazy. So again, it's important that you understand, if they have any vision, what that vision is for their existing, what they've planned, their boards, whatever it is. You need to make sure you have an idea of what they're thinking. Next is, what do you have visualized for your backsplash? Again, I'm hoping at some point that we can get Mr. Moffitt, who's a seasoned pro, obviously a master upseller of backsplashes. He does a ton of backsplashes, high backsplashes. So we're really wanting to mention the high backsplash every time. That is, of course, assuming that they didn't just tell you, oh, well, I love my backsplash with the white ceramic and flowers all over it. Obviously, you don't want to insult them if they've just told you they love their backsplash, and that's the thing that they really like about their kitchen. But it is something that you want to bring up whenever the opportunity presents itself. And again, in a later meeting, we're going to go over some strategies and ideas for upselling to a high backsplash and maybe planting that seed a little earlier so you can increase your average sale. And I think you're up next, right, Penny?
Yes. So we want to find out, again, we're just probing for information so we know how to sell the homeowner. So what's more important to you, performance or price? The answer is probably going to be both, but then we can talk about how do they use their kitchen. We want to bring those things out, how they use their kitchen, talk about those things that are important to the homeowner, and why, if it's performance, why is performance important? Or if it's price, why is price important? So try to drill down on those questions a little bit more so you can find out a little bit more information. Also, wherever we can, we want to add to our contract, whether it's through that high backsplash, whether it's through a new sink, a new faucet, new garbage disposal. Let's give them a full experience so that they don't have to call other people. They don't have to go to the big box home improvement store and pick up a garbage disposal for the plumber to install. Just take care of everything for them. That way it'll increase your average contract as well. And it's a one-stop shop.
So there you go.
Next,
yeah, and again,
next page.
Yeah, we just to add to what Penny is saying again. Hopefully, by this point, with the performance or price question, you can kind of observe your surroundings and see, and maybe comment, and it'll help warm up a little bit if you got that customer that's a little bit difficult to warm up. If you can tell that they spend a lot of money on high-end audio equipment, or they've got a really nice car, or they've got anything specific that you can tell they didn't cheap out. They went the extra mile, spent the extra dollars just to make sure they could have something that performed really well. You can kind of bring that up in your presentation as well. So you can say, I can tell by looking around that you value a good performing product, and that's something that we're going to be able to offer as well. So the next slide here, you can see some additional questions. So the next one is, how do you use your kitchen sink? For example, do you do a lot of hand washing for pots and pans? So again, you're trying to find out the functionality. These customers have so many different options and so many choices to make, and that really can scare customers off. So by you just asking a few very basic questions, you're helping them check boxes off without them even knowing it. And it gives you an opportunity to go over the sink in a little bit more greater detail there. And again, you can understand then what type of functionality they want out of their sink, and then you can kind of just make an official recommendation as opposed to saying, okay, now we're on the sinks. So these are the 17 sinks you can choose from: top mount, under mount, big bowl left, big bowl right, super single. You don't want to do too much of that. So this helps you just kind of knock that out early on, and you can say, based on our conversation in my notes, I can recommend this sink, which seems like it'd be an ideal fit for your situation. Next question is, if so, what side of the sink do you use for washing? Do you use a drying rack? So that's kind of a follow-up question. And again, you're going to notice a lot of these are different ways to pull out the same information. So if you've already gathered that, obviously don't ask the question, but it just helps hit one other way, so you might be able to pull that information out. Go ahead, Penny, with the next one.
And keep in mind, this is conversational. So rather than it being interrogation, it needs to be conversational. And if you are not quite sure how to do that, practice with somebody, your spouse or a child, coworker, whatever. Practice asking these questions in a conversational manner. What kind of faucet do you have in mind? There are lots of different faucets out there today, just like sinks. We really want to understand how the homeowner uses their sink and faucet in the kitchen. The gooseneck faucets, which are really popular, they pull straight down. It's a wrist motion. A little bit easier for an older person, perhaps, maybe somebody who's struggling with arthritis. A pull-out faucet is one that just comes straight out towards you as you're pulling the faucet out. It doesn't come down. It's more of a whole arm motion. But be the professional, be the guide, be that consultant for your homeowner, and ask these questions and explain why you're asking them and help them make the best choice possible for them. They're going to do this project once. We want to get it right the first time. Same thing with disposal, garbage disposal. Find out how old that disposal is. If it's, less than 5 years old, you'd probably be okay to reuse it. If it's getting, 10 years plus, for sure recommend replacing, because even if the disposal works, by the time they pull that old disposal or the disposal from the old countertop and put it in the new countertop sink combination, the rubber gasket may start to give way. They'll end up with leakage in the near future after the installation. So we just want to talk them through that. Maybe the disposal still works, but some of those components that keep it from leaking may not work as well.
Yeah, next would be, tell me how you feel about your cabinets. Are you happy with the color and style? So again, just asking this question alone, I had an example in my sales career early on where I actually went in initially to just look at the countertops and the backsplash, and I left with just a cabinet sale. So by me asking and talking about cabinets at least in every appointment, or as many as it's appropriate to do, unless they've just done their cabinets, you will get an increase in your sales. Again, cabinet refacing is a nice add-on. And again, with that particular customer that I sold just cabinets, it was because we didn't have a natural stone look. At that time, we didn't have anything. It was old school. We just had the speckly stuff. So it was big. It was a nice upsell. And again, I've from that point on, I was kind of a believer and brought it up at least every time. And the other thing that you can say is, again, what's awesome about cabinet refacing is you don't have to phase this all at once. I mean, you can phase it out. You can do phase 1, phase 2. You can have us come back next year, and I'll leave you a complimentary quote. No guarantees it won't change slightly over the year, 2 years, 3 years it might take for you to call us back, but at least you can start that conversation with them, which is nice. Our next question is, are there any other home improvement projects being planned at this time? So obviously you're trying to get a gauge, oh man, are they trying to do windows? Are they trying to do something else that is going to interfere potentially with your project, number one, but also what kind of cash flow is being dedicated to everything? And are they doing financing? If so, are they interested in doing financing for their project, which we're going to get into a little bit later. So it's important that you understand kind of what kind of projects you're up against, and you may actually get a natural conversation into a bathroom. If they've been at a home show and you're there for their kitchen and they don't realize you do bathrooms, by asking that question, I've had instances as well where, bath fitter was just out a couple days ago. I think we're going to move forward with them on this, and it's opened up an opportunity for me to say, hey, we actually do bathrooms as well. Let me show you some nice pictures. And oftentimes we've got a far superior look, and our price isn't really that much different. We can oftentimes even do it for almost the same price, give or take $1,000, $500. Let me go take a look at it, and it's led to sales. So that's why you asked that question, Penny.
So this next question is, many times a homeowner will ask us before we even can ask this question, how far out are you for installations? If you're asked that question, always ask this question in response. Don't give them a direct answer until you know. Do you have a time frame in which you'd like this project complete? If we tell them how far out we are, we don't know if they have an event or something coming up sooner than our next available installation date. So we just want to make sure that we're giving the franchise owner every opportunity possible to work with this homeowner. There may be an opportunity that we can squeeze one in a little sooner, but we want to find out what the time frame is so that we can either, again, add to their incentive to move forward with get the project done, or we know what we're looking at as far as the schedule goes and how serious they are, things like that. So we want to know what their time frame is. We also want to know what other materials that they're considering, especially with the iPad photos that Matt has shared. You can look at those different materials. You can look at how they perform. The other thing you can do is you can shop with your homeowner on that Home Depot countertop estimator. So if they're looking at some other things and they haven't had them quoted yet, you can go shopping with them. You'll have all the measurements and everything you need. But again, we're just gathering all this information so that we can sell to the homeowner in a more professional manner as more of a consultant versus just a salesperson.
The next one is, what other companies are you considering, and have you had any quotes yet? And of course, asking this question right from the get-go, you're going to get the defense answer, on the defense answer, which is, well, I'm getting 3 bids, and you're my first of 3 bids, or you're my first person out. Don't worry so much about what the actual answer is. You're trying to pull out, are they looking at, have they been quoted 2 of the Chinese companies that are around? Maybe that's a good opportunity for you to kind of spend time with them on the Home Depot calculator tool so you can see, well, really, this has subject to change a template, and let me show you why they say that, because, this is actually in truth what you're going to pay. Or, for that matter, you just understand further what you're up against so you can prepare yourself to sell against whatever, it is that they're considering, or the company that they're considering. How much are you hoping to invest in this project? I say still ask this every single time. Again, you could ask for budget if you want. You can word this however you feel comfortable with it. I would, said something like, how much are you wanting to invest in this project? Because I can design this 10 different ways. And again, if I design this way for you, or I help walk you through the process, and I know we've got a hard cap we're trying to hit, maybe I can make some recommendations that'll save you a few bucks here and there, but still be very functional for what you need. And again, our colors are different prices. So that's something that I would automatically bring out and hope that I got a number back so I could actually guide them through the process as opposed to just trying to learn their number. Next, Penny.
Yes, next. So this is a question, again, wording makes a big difference, just like the question before that Matt was talking about. We want to make sure we're using the proper wording. Many clients like to use other people's money when they do home improvement projects or make big purchases. And we know that in our industry, 50% of the home improvement projects over $7,500 are financed. But what we want to talk to them about is play on to their emotions. Savvy homeowners, many of my clients like to use other people's money. How do rich people make purchases? If they can use other people's money at no cost, that's how they do it. So we just want to just put that in mind. If you like those same as cash programs and no interest financing, we've got some really great programs for you. If it's somebody that doesn't have a chunk of money sitting along the side, but they want to get the project done, they may be a little bit more sensitive as far as price goes. We do have monthly options too, but you're going to have to make some considerations when you're talking about this. If they like using other people's money, then we're going to talk about same as cash, no interest. So, and if it looks like they may be wanting to do a project but may not have the money in the bank yet, monthly payments might be an option for them. So we just want to find out how they like to spend money, how they like to purchase is what we're trying to find out there. And then while you're there, are there any other projects that you can quote for the homeowner? Again, you're partnering with your homeowner. You're the professional consultant. So if there's something else that they're thinking about doing in the future, maybe it's the cabinet project, maybe it's the master bath, remind them of all those areas that we can service and say that you'd be happy to take a look at any of those areas while you're out there. Not that they have to do it right now, but you'll hang on to that information until they're ready to move forward with the next project. Again, always assume they're going to do this project and that there's going to be a next project, and use that proper language when you're talking with them.
Absolutely. So those are the questions that we recommend. Next, we're going to move on to some future topics. And again, we're open to suggestions. If you guys actually want to send me an email and say, hey, I'm struggling with this or that, you can send it and we'll cover it as a topic. So we're going to do the Price is Right game or negotiation, which again is a play on trying to find out budget or what kind of price conditioning you've been successful at building in. Though it basically tells you at the end of the appointment, before you come up with the price and you present, what kind of expectations your customer has based on what you've covered in your appointment. So it's a powerful tool to use, even though it sounds silly. Porch lighting, understanding what is porch lighting, how do I do it properly? When is appropriate to do porch lighting? When is it not appropriate to do porch lighting? Setting the customer's expectations properly is another big topic that we'll hit, making sure that they understand what they're getting and being thorough. That way you can get a lot of repeat business. How to upsell a low to high backsplash. Again, that's another one we can hopefully have some guest speakers with. I'll share what I use, but I know there's more than one way to skin a cat, so it's something that I want to make sure we get some other voices out there for. My customers don't like glass for backsplash. That's one that we're going to cover as well, because again, our company as a whole produces glass, produces the products that we use for countertops. So it's important that you try your best to move what we produce as a company, because that's what makes us the most profitable. And again, I was in the Midwest when I sold in Columbus, Ohio, so it was far from swanky Miami, Florida. Italians all love glass. I sold tons of glass though because of my approach. So again, I'll share some of the things that I did. Getting a customer to select one color instead of multiple colors. That's a very important thing. If you're getting customers, obviously with no ability to pick one color, I guarantee your close rate's probably really low. And again, that's because you're not even getting them to the finish line to ask them for their business by not having them pick a color. Warm up and transitions. We're going to go over the right way to do warm up, maybe some different approaches. Some one-leggers, how do you approach that? Do I leave a price? Do I not leave a price? How much time do I spend with them? Do I just flip them the bird and walk away? What do I do? So obviously you want to try and approach that in a specific way, in my opinion. So that's something that we'll cover. Price conditioning, again, that's something that we're going to cover with before and after photos and just kind of some different techniques and tactics that I used that helped plant a price in their mind that was going to help me in the end. Cabinets, how to sell cabinets specifically, bathrooms, how to sell bathrooms specifically. You're my first of 3 bids excuse, and then I need to think about it. So these are all various topics that we're going to cover over the upcoming meetings. We may group some of them together to cover in one meeting because some of them don't require too much talking. But again, I want suggestions from you. And you may have me reach out to you directly and ask you to guest speak on a topic if I see that you've got some expertise that would be helpful for us to use, or if you're just interested in volunteering, you can do that as well. Before I actually end the meeting, though, I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to speak up if they have any questions or any concerns. So go ahead and chat with me if you've got anything that you want to bring up. And again, just as a quick reminder, these are going to be monthly, and we're probably going to start scaling down to just one on Monday and one on Friday at some point. But for at least another month, we'll do 3 options, 2 on Monday and then 1 on Friday, assuming, again, there's no holiday like this month. But I'd love to see everybody get into that top performers list, that top 5, see if you guys can give Northern California and Portland and all those guys in Michigan a run for their money. But if there's no one else there that has any questions, we can just go ahead and end the meeting. Anyone have any questions? No one's speaking up. I know you're muted, so make sure you chat if you have it. No questions? All right, well, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting then. And feel free, again, to reach out to me with any questions that you have throughout the month. But hopefully I'll just see everybody next month.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great day.